Hello, my name is Katlynn Brandt, and this is my Pecha Kucha interview assignment for the Literacy Methods course I am taking at USI during the spring 2016 semester. This assignment will show my knowledge and understanding of just a few of the many best practices in literacy instruction that I have learned while taking this course. I chose to do my Pecha Kucha interview on the best practices for literacy instruction on the 3rd grade level. I picked 3rd grade because I feel that it is a pivotal year for students, because at this stage, students are transitioning from learning to read to reading to learn. During 3rd grade, for students aged 8 and 9, many milestones in literacy are achieved. More complicated ideas such as cause and effect become understandable for students as they make more in-depth connections. Students also become better writers at this stage, as they make improvements by forming complete sentences and using correct punctuation. Students at this developmental level are likely to read longer books independently, read aloud using expression, and can spell many words correctly. 3rd grade students also enjoy writing letters, playing word games such as crossword puzzles or word searches, and engaging in creative writing activities. In my future classroom, I would like to stay away from the traditional row-upon-row desk arrangement because I feel that teacher-centered instruction isn't very effective. I feel that students should be placed in small groups or in a U-shaped desk arrangement to give them the opportunity to work as a team and help each other out. During this stage of development, peer influence plays a big role in relationships for kids, making grouping beneficial for motivational purposes and the development of proper social skills. Arranging the desks in groups allows students the opportunity to interact and participate in class discussions more easily. One notable feature of my classroom will be the presence of distinguished literacy centers throughout the room. These stations will be used to keep students engaged in reading and writing activities when assignments have been completed, or when I am working with small groups. The activities in these stations will reinforce literacy skills like vocabulary, reading, writing, mechanics, and word study. The activities in the literacy centers will reinforce the reading and writing skills students are learning as they progress through the school year. The activities will be short, interesting, and most importantly, manipulative-based. Manipulatives like dry erase boards, reading games, pocket charts, magnets, and bright-colored markers are some of the manipulatives that will be available in these literacy centers to meet the needs of all learners. To create a print-rich environment for my students, I will have an interactive word wall which will grow each week throughout the school year. Word walls display words that students meet in their reading assignments, as well as other frequently used words like sight words or new vocabulary terms. Because many students are visual learners, seeing words on the wall helps get them excited about words and understand that words are important. I plan on implementing Writer's Workshop daily in my future classroom to build students' fluency in writing. Writer's Workshop is a teaching technique that gives students the opportunity to develop expression, revision strategy, skill in writing, and encourages them to try new things during revision. Because students are allowed to choose their topics, they are motivated to create and complete works. Lessons on grammar will be taught daily to my 3rd grade students. I will introduce them to a new skill in grammar and build upon their prior knowledge using the scaffolding method, leading up to a formal evaluation at the end of each lesson. Each day, at the beginning of each mini-lesson, they will be reviewed on what they have already learned during the previous days and will be given a new skill to learn. At the end of each mini-lesson, students will be given instructions and shown examples on how to complete their assignment to check for understanding. These small assignments are used as an exit slip to determine which students require further instruction before taking the formal evaluation at the end of the lesson. Daily practice on grammar skills helps students understand, apply, and remember grammar concepts. When it comes to teaching the skill of handwriting, practice is key, and that is why I will incorporate handwriting into the majority of my lesson plans every single day. I will absolutely include technology such as iPads and computers into my lesson plans, but I will ensure that most writing is done manually, by hand, instead of typed on an electronic device. There are numerous strategies on how to teach spelling. The most common method to teach spelling is to give a list of spelling words at the beginning of each week for the entire class to practice. At the end of the week, students are giving a spelling test demonstrating their spelling abilities. This method works for some students, but not all of them, so I plan on using a more individualized approach for my future students. While I like the idea of giving a formal assessment each week to evaluate my students' progress in spelling, I would like to use differentiation to meet the abilities and needs of all of my students so that everyone can succeed. I would like to have multiple sets of weekly spelling words with differing levels of difficulty to meet the needs of each individual student. To help foster a love of literacy, my students will be surrounded with bright, colorful, and visually appealing posters promoting reading, writing, spelling, and grammar within the classroom. The posters will feature various rules in grammar, writing, spelling, etc., and will consist of handmade posters we create as a class, as well as other educational posters. Another way I plan on fostering a love of literacy in my classroom is by having a quiet area for students to use while reading independently. Children need a place they can retreat to when they need to think, rest, or just decompress. Quiet corners or reading tents give children a place to read. I created the reading tent that is pictured in this slide for my children and plan on using it in my future classroom. Having a large classroom library is a great way to foster the love of literacy and promotes reading. At the third grade level, there needs to be a balance between fiction, nonfiction, and informational texts. The books in my classroom library will be organized in bins by theme, reading level, and by other specific categories. The reading tent mentioned earlier will also be placed within the classroom library area, as well as beanbag chairs. Family involvement is a huge factor in student success. Assigning a reading log requiring students to read for a specific amount of time at home each week and encouraging parents to come in and read to the class are both ways families can be involved in their child's literacy success. Promoting school book fairs and other literacy-themed events are another way that parents can become more involved. One of my most favorite quotes comes from the famous author Dr. Seuss. In his book, Oh, the Places You'll Go, he says, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go." I truly believe that building a strong foundation and love for literacy and early education is critical for the success of individuals as well as our society. Thank you for watching.